Welcome back.
Welcome back. On this Move It Monday, we are shining a light on a medical condition that affects millions of Americans. So May is Osteoporosis Awareness and Prevention Month.
Now, osteoporosis is a condition where weak bones often lead to fractures and pain. Now, according to the Bone and Health Osteoporosis Foundation, about 10 million people are living with this disease. So joining us live to tell us more about the condition and what you can do to prevent those fractures is Deborah Power with the Bone Health and Osteoporosis Foundation. Appreciate your time. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad
Yeah,
you're
of
here.
course.
I just want to dive into, before we talk about what are risk factors and what people should do, what is osteoporosis? How can we fully understand what this disease is?
Osteoporosis is a diagnosis of bone mineral loss and healthy bone mineral losing its integrity. It is a medical diagnosis, and it's important to make sure that you talk to your doctor and find out where your bone mineral and healthy bone stimulation is, get guidance on that. And a lot of things are caused that lead us into osteoporosis, such as medication, age, hormonal balances, nutrition, everything, the facets of bone mineral come together to look at and observe with your doctor.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that a lot of people will associate with aging and getting older, but as you just mentioned, there are some other risk factors. So what are some signs and symptoms? What should someone be aware of in their own body to go to the doctor and then ask questions?
Well, the latest statistics right now, the average test for a DEXA scan is 65 years old. In reality, if we want to be working with preventive measures, we should probably get a DEXA scan about the age of 50. But a lot of other causes can show up ahead of time, such as a fracture that could send you to the doctor to check your bone mineral and bone health. Make sure that you are working with your doctor and paying attention to any medications that you might be taking, such as rheumatoid arthritis, which is something that I'm working with myself. Clients that I work with, the GLPs right now are an important thing also. If you're working with rapid weight loss, your risks are going to go up. So it's important to talk to your doctor about those issues.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense there. And with that said, I mean, talking about prevention too, preventing osteoporosis and preventing those fractures and broken bones, what are some of the best ways to do that?
Well, of course, we all need to exercise, and there's many different forms of exercise. We need to look at the 5 components of fitness and making sure that we're doing them. Getting professional guidance through a certified personal trainer that is a nationally and internationally recognized certified licensing program, along with the physical therapist. Getting good movement education is going to be essential.
And what age should you start asking questions? I know you said getting one of those scans at 50 is looking to be the way that things are trending, but with the influx of Wegovy and those GLP-1s, I'm sure that those are factors that should lead us to ask questions a lot earlier. So what do you recommend there?
Absolutely. I can make suggestions. It's really important for an individual when they're working with their health plan to talk to their physician, especially if they're on any weight loss medications. They're going to have to carefully monitor that. The faster we lose weight, weight loss is a slow process. Making sure that you're doing it in a manageable way with your physician, talking to them. The faster the weight loss, the higher risk of bone mineral loss. So be really careful of that. We want to be watching that.
Oh, good to keep in mind. And Deborah, before we let you go, where can people learn more if they were looking for some other info here?
That's a great question. There's a lot of information on the internet right now. It gets very confusing. There's a lot of group pages on social media that you can go into. I can call them a rabbit hole. I really would like to let people know if they've had a diagnosis with osteoporosis, it can be rather frightening. And I think that it's important to just get some solid education and guidance. Don't go down rabbit holes of social media. Really talk to your doctor. Go to the BHOF Foundation, which is a solid-based education foundation for anyone who has questions about bone loss and osteoporosis. You want to make sure you're getting correct guidance. Be really careful about pages where you're getting group support that is not education-based.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Makes a lot of sense. Deborah, really appreciate your time. And thanks for joining us here this morning on AM Extra during this Osteoporosis Awareness Month.
Right. Yeah. And one more thing, as far as exercise guidance goes, my specialty is exercise guidance. And it's important, again, if you're going to get on a weightlifting program, be really careful about not overloading or going too fast. Work with timing, work with prevention, get on a program where you can progressively make improvements. A lot of times people will have a diagnosis and they'll want to do everything at once. Be really careful about getting education and learning to really listen to your body.
That's super, super important.
It is.
Deborah, thank you
Yes,
again
yeah.
so much for your time. This is very important information, and we appreciate you sharing it with us.
Sure. Thanks for asking me on. Have a great day.
You as well.
Yeah, you
Take
as
care.
well. All right, for more information and prevention tips, we'll post a link to this interview on coin.com. Happening today, there's still time to enjoy the Multnomah County Fair. It's the last